Sizwe, I had interest in contributing to its stabilization as a formidable organization because I've got respect for the 2.5 million people who voted for Sizwe in terms of what happened. So that is one. And then, of course, two, there was these other opportunistic elements who knew that with the formalization and institutionalization of the organization, they won't be able to steal money of the organization because there are people who are stealing money of Sizwe. So that is, and I heard the current TG says that I put MK in a debt of 28 million. I was like feeling sorry for him that if I were to take out the statements of Sizwe, there will be a lot of law enforcement that will have to be dealt with. But I'm not into that. We're focusing in Maibuye now and building the movement. MK will deal with its own issues. If it has got violation of the law enforcement agencies will deal with it. That's got nothing to do with me. So that is one thing that my presence there, because I don't play games. I don't do corruption. I don't do shenanigans. And there's no one, even if personally I don't have money myself, and then I've got control with accounts with hundreds of millions, I'll never sift a single cent to benefit myself in terms of, even if I've got total control over accounts and everything else there. I'd rather call people to borrow me money, to pour petrol, to travel, instead of trying to touch on money of the organization. And that is the principle that I maintained even in the economic freedom fighters. Like those that I worked with, by law, I was the signatory of all the monies of the economic freedom fighters, but I handed over those signatory powers to the TG and whoever were signing them. And some of the expenses I'll be questioning, but that this can't be this much and everything. There were people who will pay 4 million rand for a VIP marquee in a rally. And I will be like, maybe they know what value they're adding.
You must have listened to Floyd Shivambu speaking recently. And if you haven't, let me give you the rundown, because this one is a roller coaster of South African political theatre. So here's the story. Floyd Shivambu, the former deputy president of the EFF and now politically floating but still influential in commentary circles, has fired back at some heavy accusations coming from the MK party. According to Shivambu, the current Treasurer General of the MK party accused him of misappropriating 28 million. Yes, 28 million rands. But Shivambu was quick to say that this was nothing but falsehood, and instead he turned the tables, pointing directly back at the very people who accused him. He says, if he wanted, he could open the books of the MK party and expose how money under Jacob Zuma's allies has been looted from parliamentary allocations. In his words, if he revealed the financial dealings inside the MKP, the Hawks would be very busy making arrests. But instead of taking that route, he claims he is choosing to focus on his new platform, Mayor by Africa, which he now openly associates himself with. Now, Floyd insists he is not corrupt. And he goes as far as saying even the EFF's rank and file know that he never touched a cent of party money for personal gain, despite having control over hundreds of millions during his tenure. He says he would rather starve and borrow from individuals than steal from party members. That is a bold statement, and in the messy world of South African politics, it is one that invites both skepticism and admiration. But the story doesn't stop there. Shivambu revived a long-forgotten internal EFF controversy. Remember Thembinkosi Rawula? The former EFF MP who left under difficult circumstances but blew the whistle on how, according to him, the party leadership was looting funds. Shivambu now says Rawula was right when he accused Julius Malema and others of inflating quotations for party events. He gave a striking example, a quotation of 4 million rand for a small marquee. 4 million for a tent. And while some people within the organization saw nothing wrong, Shivambu admits he just shrugged and said, maybe that's how it's supposed to happen. That anecdote says a lot about how the culture of financial abuse in political organizations can be normalized, even among people who don't participate directly in it. Now, let's pause for a moment. This whole exchange is fascinating not just because of what Shivambu said, but because of what it reveals about the broader political landscape. Think about it, the MK party, which presents itself as a fresh alternative under Zuma's shadow, is already facing accusations of mismanagement and alleged financial rot. Meanwhile, the EFF, which has built its image on fighting corruption, is being accused yet again of abusing member contributions. And standing in the middle is Floyd Shivambu, saying, "I might have left, but I never stole a cent." Here's the irony. In South Africa, accusations of corruption are almost like background noise. Every political figure has them, every party denies them, and the public is left wondering who, if anyone, can be trusted. What makes Shivambu's intervention unique is that he's speaking from inside knowledge. He was in the room where these financial decisions were made. He saw the quotations. He handled the books. And whether you believe him or not, you can't deny that he is pulling back the curtain on how party finances really operate. Now let's be real for a moment. Who hasn't heard a story of inflated quotations in South African politics? From tenders for simple projects suddenly ballooning into millions, to ghost workers and missing funds, it has become part of the political culture. And here we have a first-hand testimony, a 4 million rand tent. I don't know about you, but that's the most expensive shade I've ever heard of. At that price, the tent should come with air conditioning, a chandelier, and maybe a free concert from Beyoncé. But here's where the story gets serious again. When Shivambu insists that he would rather starve than steal from party members, he is trying to contrast himself with the image of Zuma's allies in the MKP and Malima's leadership in the EFF. It's a statement meant to say, "I'm not perfect, but I'm not corrupt." And in politics, especially in a country battered by corruption scandals for decades, that kind of statement can be very powerful if people believe it. Let's zoom out. Why does this matter? Because the MK party is still trying to establish itself as a credible force. Every accusation of financial mismanagement cuts into its claim to be a party of integrity. And if Shivambu is hinting that Zuma's loyalists are siphoning parliamentary money, that is not a small matter. That's a direct attack on the financial credibility of the party. On the other hand, the EFF has never fully recovered from accusations about financial mismanagement. Remember the VBS scandal? Remember the stories about party events costing ridiculous sums? Those whispers have always followed them. And now Shivambu is confirming some of them, even if indirectly. This is where the humor and tragedy of South African politics collide. You have politicians openly talking about corruption as if it's weather. "Oh yes, that quotation was inflated, but I thought maybe that's just how things go." Imagine someone working in your company saying, "Yes, the chair cost 500,000, but maybe chairs are just like that these days." In any other country, this would spark outrage. In South Africa, it's Tuesday. But let's not dismiss this as just another shouting match between politicians. These statements matter because they shape public trust. When Shivambu says he never stole, he is making a bid to rehabilitate his image. When he accuses others of looting, he is shifting the blame and trying to frame himself as a voice of reason. Whether you believe him or not, it adds another layer of complexity to how we view the MK party, the EFF, and the individuals who have shaped both movements. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a vivid reminder that South African politics is not just about policies and manifestos. It is about money, loyalty, accusations, and survival. It is about who gets to control resources, and who gets to control the story about those resources. And every time someone like Shivambu speaks, it cracks open a little window into how things really work behind the scenes. If you've followed South African politics long enough, you know one thing: today's accuser is tomorrow's accused, and vice versa. The carousel never stops. What matters is whether the public pays attention, and whether these revelations spark real accountability or just fade into the background noise. So, To wrap this up, Floyd Shivambu says he never stole a cent. He says Zuma's allies in the MK party are looting parliamentary funds. He says the EFF inflated quotations, sometimes to laughable levels, and everyone just went along with it. Believe him or not, these statements force us to confront the uncomfortable reality of how politics and money are entangled in South Africa. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Shivambu when he says he never stole? Or do you think this is just another politician trying to clean up his image? Let's talk about it. See you next time.